Ever feel like you're worrying too much about everything and anything? Could it be anxiety? In today's fast-paced world, anxiety is more prevalent than we might think, often sneaking into our daily life, affecting our mindset, our emotions, even our physical health. In this video, we're going to delve into this topic, helping you to identify the top 10 symptoms of anxiety. Recognizing these signs could be a real game changer. Remember, knowledge is the first step towards managing and overcoming anxiety. The first symptom we're delving into is excessive worrying. Now, all of us worry sometimes. It's a natural response to life's challenges. But for someone with anxiety, this worry is constant and can seem uncontrollable. It's like a loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios playing over and over in your mind, often without a specific cause. And this isn't just a fleeting concern, it's a persistent feeling that can interfere with daily life. Next up is feeling agitated. This goes beyond mere annoyance or frustration. It's a feeling of restlessness, like you're on edge or can't sit still. Your heart may race, your palms may sweat, you might feel jittery or shaky. It's as if your body is in a constant state of high alert, preparing for some unseen danger. So if you're constantly worrying and often feeling agitated, it might be a sign of anxiety. Next on our list are restlessness and fatigue. Now imagine feeling restless, like there's this constant need to move or do something, but you just can't pinpoint what. It's like having an itch that you can't scratch. This is what restlessness feels like, and it's one of the key symptoms of anxiety. It keeps you on your toes, always on edge, and it can severely impact your daily life and activities. On the flip side, there's fatigue. It's that overwhelming sense of tiredness that doesn't seem to go away, even with proper rest. It's like carrying a heavy backpack all day, every day, and it's just as draining as it sounds. Fatigue is not just about being physically tired, it's also about feeling mentally and emotionally exhausted. These two symptoms may seem at odds, but they often go hand in hand when it comes to anxiety. You're restless, so you can't relax or sleep well, which leads to fatigue. Thus, persistent restlessness and fatigue can also be signs of anxiety. Moving on, difficulty concentrating and irritability also make our list. Picture this. You're trying to focus on a task, but your mind keeps wandering to a flurry of worries and what-ifs. That's how anxiety can impact your concentration. It's like trying to read a book in a room full of chattering people. It's not that you're incapable of focusing, but the constant noise of anxiety can make it a challenging task. Now let's talk about irritability. Imagine being on edge, feeling like the smallest inconvenience could set you off. This heightened state of sensitivity often accompanies anxiety. It's as if you're walking on a tightrope, with your patience thinning with every step. Remember, these symptoms don't necessarily mean you have an anxiety disorder. They could be related to numerous other factors. But if you're finding it hard to concentrate and getting irritated easily, it might be time to consider anxiety as a possible cause. Our next pair of symptoms are tense muscles and trouble falling asleep. Anxiety is a master of disguise. It doesn't just affect your mind, it can also create physical symptoms like tense muscles. Your body's fight or flight response gets activated, pumping adrenaline and preparing you for a perceived threat. Often, this leads to your muscles tightening up, causing discomfort or even pain. You might find yourself clenching your jaw, hunching your shoulders, or experiencing tension headaches. The second symptom we're discussing is trouble falling asleep. When your mind is a whirlwind of worry, it can be tough to switch off and drift into slumber. You might find yourself lying awake, staring at the ceiling, your thoughts racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. This sleep disturbance can be a vicious cycle, as lack of sleep can exacerbate feelings of anxiety. Remember, anxiety isn't just about the mind, it can affect your body too. Our last two symptoms are perhaps the most serious: panic attacks and avoidance behavior. Panic attacks are sudden episodes of intense fear that trigger severe physical reactions when there is no real danger or apparent cause. They can be frightening and significantly disrupt your life. Symptoms can include a racing heart, sweating, trembling, shortness of breath, or feelings of impending doom. On the other hand, avoidance behavior refers to the actions a person takes to escape from difficult or uncomfortable situations. This can manifest as avoiding places, activities, or people that are reminders of a traumatic event or situation. While it might seem like a practical solution, avoidance behavior can actually amplify anxiety over time, leading to a more isolated and restricted life. These symptoms are severe, but recognizing them is the first step towards getting help. It's important to remember that anxiety is treatable and there are many resources available for those who are suffering. So, we've discussed the top 10 symptoms of anxiety. Let's take a moment to recap. We talked about excessive worrying and feeling agitated, which can often feel like a constant, overwhelming concern that's hard to shake off. Then, we moved on to restlessness and fatigue, which can manifest as a persistent feeling of unease or as a draining tiredness that doesn't seem to go away. We also addressed difficulty in concentrating and irritability, symptoms that can affect your daily life and relationships, followed by tense muscles and trouble falling asleep, physical manifestations of the mental turmoil within. And finally, we touched upon the more severe symptoms like panic attacks and avoidance behavior, which can significantly impact your quality of life. It's worth noting that if you identify with several of these symptoms, it's important to seek professional help. Anxiety, while a common mental health issue, is not something to be taken lightly. But remember, it's not a life sentence either. It's treatable and manageable, and there are countless resources and professionals out there ready to help. You don't have to face this on your own. There are many paths to recovery and managing anxiety, and it starts with reaching out. Whether it's a trusted friend, family member, or a mental health professional, don't hesitate to open up about what you're experiencing. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. You're not alone in this.